Can self-inquiry really work without a guru? Some people insist that a living teacher is essential. Without one, they say, the ego will deceive you, the practice will go wrong, and genuine realization will remain impossible. Others take the opposite position. They say that no guru is needed because the self is already within you. You simply have to turn inward and ask, who am I? Both sides can find statements from Ramana Maharshi that appear to support their view. But when we look more carefully at what Ramana actually said, his answer is neither a simple yes nor a simple no. It depends entirely on what we mean by the word guru. Ramana was once asked directly whether a guru was absolutely necessary for self-realization. Across his recorded conversations, Ramana repeatedly affirmed the need for the guru, while also explaining that the guru was not ultimately limited to a human form. In one recorded conversation, someone referred to Jiddu Krishnamurti's claim that no guru was necessary. Ramana replied, "How did he know it? One can say so after realizing, but not before." That is a much stronger statement than many modern presentations of Ramana's teaching suggest. Ramana did not encourage the beginner to declare complete spiritual independence. As long as there is confusion, weakness, identification with the body, and belief in separation, some form of guidance is needed. But this is where his teaching becomes more subtle. Ramana also said, in words close to their original form, that guru is the self, and elsewhere that the guru is both exterior and interior. So when Ramana said the guru was necessary, he was not necessarily saying that everyone must find a particular human being, enter an organization, take initiation, and obey that teacher for the rest of their life. For Ramana, the true guru was not ultimately a personality. The guru was the self itself. We normally think of a guru as an individual. There is the seeker here, the enlightened teacher over there, and knowledge must somehow pass from one person to the other. Ramana challenged that picture. He explained that we see the guru as a physical person because we first see ourselves as a physical person. As long as we identify ourselves with the body, we naturally imagine that the guru is also primarily a body. But from Ramana's perspective, both the seeker and the guru are appearances within the one self. The external teacher is therefore not the final reality of the guru. The teacher's true function is to turn the seeker's attention back toward its source. The guru does not manufacture realization or give the disciple a new self. The self is already present. The guru helps remove the beliefs, attachments, and misunderstandings that prevent the seeker from recognizing what is already true. The guru does not place enlightenment inside you. The guru helps expose the one who believes enlightenment is missing. Ramana described the guru as working from both outside and inside. Externally, the guru may appear as a teacher, a teaching, a book, a question, a moment of silence, or a life event that forces you to look inward. The external form points your attention away from objects and toward the consciousness that knows them. Ramana described the inner guru as drawing the mind toward its source. In more modern language, we might experience this as an unexplained pull toward truth. It is the dissatisfaction that remains even when your external life appears successful. It is the intuition that your thoughts, emotions, history, and personality cannot be the whole of what you are. According to Ramana, the external guru gives the mind a push inward, while the inner guru draws it toward the self. These are not two different gurus. They are two expressions of the same grace. This means that you may not currently have a personal relationship with a living teacher, but you are not necessarily practicing without guidance. Ramana's recorded teachings may be guiding you. The question, "Who am I?" may be guiding you. The recognition that a thought has appeared to you may be guiding you. Even the frustration that reveals your inability to control the mind may become part of that guidance. The guru does not always arrive in the form the ego expects. Ramana's own awakening is often used as proof that no guru is required. At 16, he experienced an intense fear of death. Instead of escaping from that fear, he turned inward and investigated what would actually die. Through that direct confrontation, identification with the body collapsed, and the reality of the self became clear. His awakening was not presented as the result of formal instruction from a human teacher. Soon afterward, he left home for Arunachala, which held immense spiritual significance for him. So yes, Ramana's case shows that realization is not mechanically dependent on receiving instruction from a human being. But there is a danger in using his experience as an excuse. Ramana was not an ordinary beginner who read a few spiritual books, developed some interesting ideas, and decided that he no longer needed correction. His absorption was immediate and radical. The sense of being the body was penetrated at its root. Most people who say, "Ramana had no guru, so I don't need one," are still completely identified with their thoughts, emotions, preferences, and personal history. The ego may use Ramana's exceptional awakening to protect itself from guidance. It says, "No one can teach me." But often what it really means is, "I do not want anyone to challenge my conclusions." That is not freedom from the guru. That is resistance to being corrected. You can certainly begin self-inquiry without waiting to find a personal guru. You do not need to postpone the practice. You do not need formal initiation before noticing that thoughts arise to you. You do not need permission to ask, "To whom has this thought appeared?" When the answer arises, "To me," you can turn attention toward that me. Do not answer intellectually. Do not create a description of yourself. Do not repeat, "I am the self," as a belief. Turn attention toward the one to whom the thought has appeared. Remain with the felt sense of I and trace it back toward its source. This is the beginning of self-inquiry. Ramana repeatedly directed people back to the source of the I thought. He presented, "Who am I?" not as a philosophical puzzle, but as an investigation into the one who experiences the mind. So you can practice wherever you are. You can practice at home, at work, while walking, or during a quiet period of meditation. But practicing without a personal teacher does not mean practicing without humility. The greatest danger is not necessarily that you lack a physical teacher. The greater danger is that you mistake your own mental interpretations for realization. The mind is very good at converting self-inquiry into something else. It may turn inquiry into constant thinking about awareness. It may collect quotations and build a spiritual identity. It may imitate the language of non-duality and say, "There is no person, so nothing needs to be done." It may use the idea that everything is already the self to avoid examining fear, attachment, anger, or dishonesty. It may even declare itself awakened because it briefly experienced silence or spaciousness. A competent teacher can help expose these distortions, though the presence of a teacher does not guarantee it. Ramana pointed to the peace and natural respect a person's presence inspires as one sign of genuine guidance, rather than dramatic claims or a large following. From a modern, practical perspective, peace alone should not mean abandoning common sense. A genuine teacher should not ask you to surrender your intelligence or become psychologically dependent on them. The purpose of the guru is to weaken false identification, not build a more elaborate identity around discipleship. So what should you do if you do not currently have a guru? First, work carefully with Ramana's actual instructions. Do not rely entirely on short quotations shared online. Read sources such as Who Am I? And the recorded conversations available through Sri Ramanasramam. Second, practice rather than endlessly collecting information. When a thought disturbs you, ask to whom it has appeared. When the answer is me, investigate that me. Return attention to the sense of being the one who knows the thought. Third, remain open to correction. Guidance may come from a living teacher, a serious practitioner, a traditional text, or the recognition that your current method has become intellectual. Do not make a religion out of being self-taught. Fourth, watch for the results of practice. Is identification weakening? Are you becoming less defensive? Is there greater honesty, steadiness, and inner silence? Or are you simply becoming better at speaking about non-duality? Self-inquiry should gradually expose the ego, not provide it with a more sophisticated vocabulary. So, does self-inquiry work without a guru? Without a personal living teacher? Yes, it can. You can begin self-inquiry now. The self is not waiting for you to join an organization or travel to India. But without the guru in Ramana's deeper sense, no. Because the guru is not ultimately someone outside you. The guru is the grace that turns attention toward its source. The guru is the teaching that exposes the false I. The guru is the power within that refuses to find permanent satisfaction in temporary things. And when an external teacher is genuinely needed, this same power may appear outwardly in the form best suited to guide you. Your responsibility is not to anxiously search for the perfect spiritual personality. Your responsibility is to become sincere enough to recognize guidance when it appears and humble enough to allow your misunderstandings to be exposed. Until the sense of separation disappears, guidance remains necessary. But the final purpose of the guru is not to keep you dependent. It is to reveal that the seeker, the guru, and the self were never truly separate. And this brings us to an even more uncomfortable question. How can you know whether you are genuinely following self-inquiry or whether the ego has quietly taken control of the practice? That is exactly what I explore in the next video. Is self-inquiry an ego trap? The link is in the description.